Before America even pulled out a chair, they handed Canada a bill. Not a proposal, not an opening position. A bill. Pay first. Concede first. Then, and only then, will we talk. If that makes your blood boil, stay right here. Because what Canada's Prime Minister said back to Washington this week is something every Canadian needs to hear, word for word. 4 senior sources confirmed to Radio Canada this week that the Trump administration is conditioning the start of formal CUSMA trade talks on Canada making major upfront concessions before negotiations even begin. We're talking about Canada's supply management system for dairy, poultry, and eggs, provincial bans on American alcohol, Canadian procurement policies that favor Canadian businesses. Washington's message: change these now, or there is no meeting. Follow this channel because we track every move in this negotiation daily, and the next few weeks are going to move fast. Here's what makes this even more infuriating. Canada has already given ground. Twice. Ottawa scrapped the digital services tax last June as a goodwill gesture. Counter tariffs Canada had prepared were quietly eased. Did Washington reciprocate? Not once. Not formally, not even close. And here is the metaphor coming out of Ottawa that perfectly captures what's happening. The Americans are treating CUSMA talks like a Costco membership. You pay your fee just to walk in the door. Except here's what that analogy misses. When you pay for Costco, nobody charges you again at the meat aisle. What Washington is demanding isn't a membership. It's a mugging at the entrance before the negotiation even starts. Now here's the twist that barely made headlines, and it should have. While Canada has no formal date, no official bilateral round, no confirmed seat at the table, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer met with Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum this week. A joint statement confirmed it. The United States and Mexico will hold an official negotiating round in late May. Mexico has a date. Mexico has a seat. Canada is still waiting for a reply. Ambassador Mark Wiseman appeared before the House of Commons Foreign Affairs Committee this week, and when pressed on why Canada has no start date, his answer was 4 words that said everything. It takes 2 sides. If you want to understand what's really at stake for Canadian workers and Canadian families, not just the politics, stay with us because we're going in deep right now. So where does Prime Minister Mark Carney stand? Exactly where Canada needs him to stand. Not panicking, not capitulating, and not pretending this is fine. Speaking to reporters in Ottawa, Carney said, and listen carefully to every word here, "It is not a case of the United States dictates the terms. We have a negotiation. We can come to a mutually successful outcome. It will take some time." 4 sentences, 0 desperation. He then listed what Canada considers its own trade grievances: a 50% tariff on steel and aluminum, 25% on automobiles, tariffs choking the forest sector, and called them what they are: not irritants, violations of the trade deal. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc made Canada's position even simpler. If we wanted a bad deal, we could have had one months ago. Canada is not waiting for any deal. Canada is waiting for the right deal. What does Canada actually have on the table going into this? More than Washington is counting on. Tens of thousands of steel and aluminum workers in Ontario, Quebec, and British Columbia. Over 90,000 auto sector jobs in Ontario, so deeply woven into the American supply chain that tariffs on Canadian cars hurt American manufacturers too. British Columbia's forestry industry, which has fought American softwood lumber tariffs for decades and will fight them again. A dairy and poultry sector protected by supply management that Carney has signaled he will not trade away cheaply. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has drawn his own line: no movement on provincial liquor policies until sectoral auto tariffs are off the table. And Carney backed him publicly. Every province, one position, one front. There is one more thing Carney said this week that cuts through all the noise. When asked about Canada-U.S. relations, he said, "I do not get up first thing in the morning and think about the United States. We have more than enough to do in Canada. Some read that as dismissal. It isn't. Canada is committing $51 billion to infrastructure, hosting a $1 trillion investment summit, signing trade deals across 4 continents, rebuilding Arctic sovereignty. A country that is building itself stronger from the inside out does not negotiate from desperation. It negotiates from options. And that changes everything about how this plays out. The CUSMA Advisory Committee meets in 2 days. July 1st, the review checkpoint, is 66 days away. Formal talks are coming. And when they arrive, Canada's position will be the same as it is today. Not one unilateral concession, not $1 paid as an entry fee, and not one seat given up before the negotiation starts. Because here is what Washington may be underestimating. Canada has the oil. Canada has the minerals. Canada has the talent, the technology, the trade relationships, and now a majority government with a clear democratic mandate. You do not hold a strong hand and fold before the cards are dealt. The July 1st deadline is 66 days away. Every move between now and then matters. We'll be tracking this daily. The backroom signals, the public statements, the moments that don't make the front page but change everything. If this is the kind of coverage you want to stay ahead of, hit subscribe. New analysis drops every day, and the next update may be the one that changes how you see this entire negotiation.